wigs over here. Something going on. And, she used to wear wigs. She don't even she just come as is. He don't even care. And we know that is not her. That is not him. He was always together. There is something going on. That means there is something going on mentally that, hey, I really need to check in with my brother. I really need to check in with my sister. But at first we want to go, she must be out. See, that's what happens when you see him. The devil come and get you. They going to get you caught up. That's the devil know how to get you back. Because you know what she did 5-10 years ago. She getting it back now. Wow. That's true. If he forgave me and forgot me, why the hell fact you bring it back up? There you go. That's right. What? Now you trying to take me back. I'm moving forward. You're trying to take me back. So they ain't got nothing to do with that. But they going to try to find an excuse why you're dealing with everything. They going to try to find an excuse. But nobody knows what you're dealing with work. Nobody knows that your child just did this. Nobody knows that your husband just left you. Nobody knows you were just diagnosed with this or your mom. Nobody knows that because we're going to pray, baby. Just go on and pray. Just come on to church. Leave your ties and, pray your way out. He'll heal you.
My God, it's so true.
I got to say something. You are so little Pastor Bondo. Tell us about your mama. Doing great. That's awesome.
Depression signs and symptoms. Psychological symptoms on page 5. You see those psychological anxiety, guilt. Yes.
Is it a possibility that they could be depressed and not realize?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can be depressed and not realize.
Yeah.
I would say this. There was a time that I was like that, and I was trying to figure out why was I sleeping. Why would I would come home from work and I just go straight to bed. And I went online and I began to look up the symptoms of depression. I said, the devil is a lie. I ain't got time for that. Not on my clock. So sometimes we got to go back and find out what's going on. And then when we do, we got to learn how to snap out of it. Because you can't always depend on other people. Because as I heard somebody say, you got to learn how to encourage yourself. But as I began to look at the signs, I said, this is not me. You got to know yourself. You got to know yourself. And I said, this is not me. So I had to go back and regroup. And so sometimes we got to talk to our own self. We got to encourage ourselves. We got to speak to that spirit. It is a spirit of depression. But we got to go back and do it. And you can really be depressed and not realize.
Because if you know better, you do better. If you're having those things you don't know, and then some people are not as strong that so when they identify, they say something's going on, and maybe they did Google it. They're like, okay, now what do I do? For somebody who maybe knew a baby in Christ. Or if you're seasoned, you're like, yeah. But if you continued on with that same stuff for 2 weeks and 3 weeks and 4 weeks, they're like, okay, I need to get some help. Now I'm gonna, the spirit ain't gonna deal with me, but I'm gonna still need some help because what happens if I don't deal with it mentally, it's gonna also now internalize and deal physically. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I see. After you look at the depression signs and symptoms, and you can, if this is going on with you, you automatically know you're depressed. But how do you get out of this? Because I checked out several ones on here for me. And
Well, that's
I do know, huh?
That's honest.
Yeah, I do know sometimes I be depressed. And it's like fatigue, and sometimes I'm like that, lack of energy, sleeping too much or not enough, either or. I can do either one of them. And loss of appetite. Sometimes I eat all day long. It's just a habit, I guess. I don't know what that is. Where it says weight loss and weight gain, when it sure ain't no loss, it's gain. Headache, unexpected aches and pains. So I'm just ready to be shut in the closet.
No, we're not shutting the closet.
Withdraw from others. I do that too. But you know what I do? When I want to get away from somebody, I go to a parking lot somewhere in a shopping center or a store, just sit there for hours. Just look at people. But now I've talked I've been talked to when I go out somewhere, like you see people, not talk to them, but when you see them, just get out of the car, coming in, just say a little prayer for them. Just when you pray, just say some. That's what I do. So when I come home, or the day or night, I sit out in my car 2-3 hours before I can go in the house. No, ain't nothing in there. So what I'm going back in there for? I'm ready to come back to the church. That's honest about truth. But see, I'm honest about myself, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna leave out of here and I know that I can get some help. No matter what it is, I'm not ashamed of anything because everybody is supposed to be Christian. We're supposed to love one another, and I'm just straight to the point.
And that's a good thing because even you recognize some of those things, and so you know, okay, probably if I go home, I'll be dealing with this depression. I'm the devil is a lie because a lot of times the devil tell you to do one thing, you do it opposite what he tell you to do. So he tell you go home, go to sleep. No, I'm going outside. I'm going to the store. I'm gonna sit right here. And also doing those things as well. So how do and having a support system, having someone you can talk to, having those other things that you can do. But if it goes on more than 2 weeks that you're dealing with those symptoms, then you need to go, because there's times you may be a day or 2 or 3, you know, this has been a really rough week, you know. Okay, let me get through this. I'll get through this. Well, it may last a week and I got through this. But if it's lasting 2 weeks and now you feel that same way 3 weeks and 4 weeks, if it's affecting the way you live, love, and work, your daily activities, then we need to get some help. I'm getting help. I'm praying because I rebuke this because this is not me. Because my mom said, you know when something's not you. You know when something's on you, but also you got to know who you've been around.
That's right. That's true.
Because sometimes those spirits will jump on you and you be like, this ain't me.
That's right.
So hold on, let me regroup. This ain't me, and then let me find out who I've been around or who I was around. Because I was, I was so and so and so, and he was always this blah blah blah. Okay, I need to regroup, get my mind together, and pray. But then also as well, if it continues on. So we saw with some more of the psychological hopelessness, irritability, self-criticism. That means you frequently self-criticize yourself. You ain't good enough. You know, I don't care what you do. Nobody cares about you. I don't care where you go or what you do or how much you do. I don't care how much you pray for those people. They just going to be those Nigerians all day long. And I don't care what you do. Indecisiveness or tendency to believe others see one in a negative light or thoughts of suicide and death. As we can see, unfortunately, some of those examples we talked about in the Bible, we saw they thought about suicide or death. Can't deal with Jonah. And we always talk about Jonah, he would not curse his God and die. He would blah, blah, blah. But all that cost him something as well. He did come out on the other side. Yeah. So even when dealing with depression, you will come out on the other side. You may come out, we're not saying God can't heal you because he can heal and deliver you. Yes. He can totally heal and deliver you, but also in that process, you may be having some help during your deliverance. You may have to take a medication or go through therapy while you were your deliverance. You may have to be on there for a month or two. There's times that there are mothers that have postpartum depression, and they may be on medication for a month or two. And then after that, because their chemical imbalance, then they'll go back and sync, and then they're fine. So it's not something that'll always be a lifetime. Some people do deal with a lifetime. Some people don't. Maybe it's just that season. When talking about season, there's also what we call seasonal depression. Some people get depressed when there's a change in a season. So like fall, we're going from summer to fall, and then where we have another one from winter to spring. There are some people that have seasonal depression because they can't, and it's like their body, their chemical, it's like with the seasonal change, you actually see that. And there is actually called a seasonal depression disorder. Wow. And that is a diagnosis. After it takes about 5 or 6 weeks from that season change, and then they level off. They level off. There's a young lady I know, when summer comes in, she is like, oh my goodness. She can tell it takes her a while to get over that. But summer is where she becomes more depressed. A lot of times people when the summer comes, they're more upbeat because you're outside, you can do things, the sun, and then when the fall comes, a lot of people may have, because now I got to go back inside because it's really cold outside and there's nobody inside to go with. They're more alone. You don't have many activities or community activities that's going on in the fall and winter than you do in the summer and the spring. So now I got to go face myself. And so they deal with that seasonal thing. So there's also that. Anxiety disorder is different from normal stress and anxiety. The symptoms of anxiety disorders are more severe and can cause impairment to daily life, work, and relationship. When you look at page 6 at the top, the adults with anxiety disorder, if you look at that, those are different phobias: social anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, panic disorder, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, arachophobia, agoraphobia. So phobias are something as a fear.
Yeah.
So some people can have social phobias, a social anxiety. They cannot deal when they get in a crowd of people. I mean, their anxiety just like, I mean, you can see it, and we'll start talking about. I mean, they get the BGs, the belly, the bubble guts. I mean, they're trembling, their heart, their respiration. They just can't deal with that social anxiety. So they would not be somebody working in a place full of people.
That's right.
They're somewhere IT, working from home, or IT or somewhere. They know their limitations. Or somebody that has post-traumatic stress syndrome. So we see post-traumatic stress disorder a lot of times in people that's soldiers, been rapid deployment. But we, everyday people, civilians, we also suffer sometimes from PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. So think about these children today who are living in neighborhoods that constantly hearing gunshots. So when God blessed them to move out of that neighborhood and they move somewhere else and they don't hear that, the first time they hear a gunshot, they're going to jump up. That's a post-traumatic.
Yes.
That means they haven't had a traumatic disorder. Your body keeps count. There's a book called Your Body Keeps Count. Your body remembers everything.
Oh, yeah.
You may have forgot it, or you have put it in the back of your head so you thought. But there is something that can trigger that will bring it back.
That's right.
And sometimes people is a hair away from having a mental breakdown. You be like, no, I'm not. I'm cool. You never know. It could be a car accident. It could be anything. And so one of the things that we're concerned about children today, especially that living in those war zones, and I say war zones because there's some they're having people die 3 or 4 times. I mean, people get killed 3 or 4 or 5 times in a week. They hear gunshots. It's like too much. And some kids in the neighborhood, they're numb to it now. It's just like when we live in Federal, Fort Bragg, we hear bombing out. It's like, oh, it's Fort Bragg. If somebody really bomb, we'll say, oh, it's Fort Bragg. We really wouldn't know because we can sleep through all that. We have guests to come that lives from out of town and they come like, how do y'all deal with this? We're numb to that sound. And unfortunately, we have kids that are now numb to violence. And when they come out of that environment, and they hear something, it triggers them and it takes them mentally back there.
Wow.
Same thing with things that's happened to us, people that were molested or people that was dealing with domestic violence. Certain things, certain words, certain smells, certain things would trigger people. Obsessive compulsive disorder. Some people are those xenophobes, but germaphobes. They don't want to. They don't want to shake nobody's hand. They give you a pound. Oh, how to hug? Oh, I don't hug. Praise the Lord. I don't call you. No, hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Or they constantly, they're constantly got their sanitizer cleaning, or they're constantly cleaning. You can eat off their floor. I mean, it's like, oh no. I mean, just like OCD. I'm not that one. Don't eat off my floor. But OCD is certain things, cleaning, or they can be OCD, making sure that, there's some people who vacuum their house and their lines gotta be like straight. And if their lines are not, they vacuum their floor every single day.
Well,
if their carpet lines are not in the way,
come on now.
they just redo the whole.
Redo the whole
That's
thing.
just like OCD.
I know people like
And I'm not saying that's something wrong. I mean, that's nothing wrong with that. If your lines got to be straight, just vacuum the floor for me. I don't care. But some people have those things that has to be done. The lines got, or even their yards, the grass got to be cut. You got to the lines, or your things got to be. I remember my husband. I first met my husband. He don't do it no more because I don't do it. His shirts had to match the hangers. So if it was a white shirt, it had to be a white hanger. If it was a black shirt, it'd be a black hanger. If it was a color shirt, a purple shirt, it had to be a color hanger. Light color shirt, I'm like, man,
I was like,
Man, I got to think about wire hangers and blinds. Oh, let me see a blind that's like broke. Like, and there's like, let me like, if you don't get that right there, it's like blinds. Let me see a blind that's like broke or one's missing or they like this. He just like, yeah, that irritates me. Yeah, that's my OCD moment. Just that OCD moment. Yeah, and wire hangers, because when I was younger, I watched Mommy Dearest.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's my traumatic experience.
Yeah.
And I see a wire hanger, I go, no more wire hangers. So I remember that as an early childhood, I remember that. So I do not like, I get wire hangers out of mine. See, it's amazing how little things trigger you. I do not like wire hangers and blinds. It's like, oh, yeah. So the bottom one, how does your body react to anxiety? These are just some examples of how body reacts to anxiety. Your vision may become blurry. Your mind start racing. You can't think clearly. You may have nausea or lack of appetite, restlessness, weak legs. You may have a difficulty in swallowing. Like, oh my goodness, I can't swallow. Fuck, I can't swallow. Depending on what that particular anxiety is. Then look on page 7. What are some signs of anxiety? Pounding heart. Now, anxiety can also resemble a heart attack.
yes.
An anxiety or like panic anxiety attack can also resemble a heart attack. And if you don't know which one is which, you ask this person, have you ever had a panic attack, an anxiety attack? Have this is familiar to you? And then, of course, yeah, I've had this before. It's not a heart attack. I've had this before because your heart can be racing and pounding. You're breathing really heavy. You're sweating profusely. Yes, ma'am.
I actually had that happen to me when I was younger. I had got a divorce from my first husband, and I thought I was having a heart attack because I had to move out that day. I had to move all my stuff out of the house, and I thought I was having a heart attack. I really did. And when I went to the hospital, the first thing they started doing, they said, "Well, your heart's okay." They did all of the same. They said, "We don't know why you still feeling these pains and stuff like that." And it was my mind. My mind was conceiving, and then my body was reacting to how I was feeling.
Yeah.
And she said, "You're having an anxiety attack." After I told her what was going, she said, "Did anything traumatized happen to you?" But I felt like you said, could you be depressed or have anxiety? And I thought I was okay. I thought I was good, but I was having an anxiety attack and didn't even know it.
Yeah, because that day came when a realization hit you.
Yeah.
A lot of times people say, has it hit you yet? Or have you, or you got married, or when you had a child, or your parents, somebody passed away? No, it haven't hit me yet. And this any day, it just hit me. And so that day, yeah, you knew you had divorced and everything, but this particular day it's been a whole year knowing that you were getting divorced, but something about that day when you physically had to move out, wow, it just hit me. So these are, if you see those signs, cardiovascular, your heart, and neurological, we call neurological, as we old folks would say, the nerves. Your neurological dealing with your nerves, dizziness or headaches or sweating, tingling. I don't know why I'm so numb, what is going on? Again, like she said, her mind spoke to her body and it was having, that's why I said, we spend billions of dollars a year on going to the doctor on signs and symptoms that we're having from the body when it's with the mind. Behavior, avoidance of situation, obsessive or compulsive, phobic behavior, psychological, unrealistic or excessive fear or worry. And it is normal for us to have a little bit of kind of stress because we have a little stress to keep us going. Think about when you were in school, you had a test coming up. You needed that little stress to make you want to do what? Study so you can pass that test, right? Or with work, it's a little stress. Okay, I got to get this by deadline. I got to get this, to keep your motivation coming. But it's that stress that's causing you to like, oh my God, if I don't do that wrong, that's just too much. It's too much. Psychological. And then you have risk factors for depression. So what are some of the things that may cause that? You may distress, an uncomfortable event, another mental illness. Also, mental illness is also genetic. It can also be passed in family, especially bipolar, schizophrenia. Those can be passed on. It's genetic, can be passed on in your family. illnesses that life-threatening or chronic or medical conditions or recent childbirth, lack of exposure to bright light in the winter. So think about Alaska has the highest suicide rates in the United States.
I believe cold and dark.
Alaska has the highest suicide rates in the United States. Because why?
It's cold and it's dark most of the year.
It's cold and dark most of the year and raining. Have the highest number. So when I always think of that, when we look at what are some risk factors that maybe causes people in Alaska to have a higher suicide rate. You know, they're not getting that sunlight. It's dark majority of the time. Where we have maybe 12 hours of sunlight, they may have sometime of the seasons 4 hours of sunlight the whole day. And then it's dark the rest of the day, or dusk or dark the rest of the day. So we may not have, even when we don't have any sun, we still have a bright day. Mm-hmm. It could be overcast, but we still have light. When I say they don't have no light.
That's right.
Yeah, they don't have no light. So now, I understand when I was younger, my grandmother would get up in the morning, everything was open, everything, every blind, every curtain, every single thing. You'd be like, open that blind, pull up them shades, get that light, and you need some light. Natural light is so important. But a lot of people, when they're dealing with depression, they want to close. They don't want the blinds open. They will even put blackout curtains in their home because they want to go to work, come home, and they just want to sit in that dark space. If it can be. On page 9, warning signs. And I also want to talk about warning signs of suicide. Again, like I said, this month is suicide prevention. It's on page 9.
Okay.
Suicide prevention month. September is suicide awareness and prevention month. So we look at what are some warning signs of suicide, threatening to hurt. So if somebody say, I want to kill myself. They come and say, I don't feel like living anymore. I want to kill myself. And those are some of the signs. The next one, there's some questions you need to ask them. Ask them, are you having thought, have you decided how you're going to kill yourself? Mm-hmm. Have you decided when you're going to do it? Right. Have you decided things you need to carry out your plan? Why do you think these questions should be asked?
So you'll know, like, when, where, or have around an idea about when it's going to take place so that if they become missing or something of that nature, you can remember the last conversation that you held, or you'll be the last person that they have contact with as far as their mental state.
Mm-hmm. And then also asking them questions also make them become aware, like it's different when I'm thinking about it than when I'm actually having to speak it out.
That's right.
So have you decided what's your plan?
Mm-hmm.
So you know when you're going to carry it out? You know where it's be like, oh wow, am I really going to do this? Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
My husband, he knew somebody. Well, we both of us did at one time, and they was talking about suicide. I thought it was funny at the time. I told him don't say it, but he said if a person want to kill himself, if I can help him, I'll help him. He said, do you have any bullets? Are you going to take part? How you going to do it? No. Well, I got some bullets. Well, you can take bullets home with you. Something like that. Or you got a gun? And then you didn't hear about it no more. Mm-hmm. Like he was saying. I said, why you say? He said, well, first of all, if they were going to kill themselves, they wouldn't be telling me about it no way.
So sometimes they will say and sometimes they will not. Sometimes suicide people will verbalize it and sometimes they will not. They will show it in action. So talking about feeling hopelessness or feeling trapped, they'll start giving away all their personal things. They're what's really important, they start giving them away. Or they'll write letters to people and say, Grandma, I really loved you no matter what. I will always love you. You're like, why are you saying that? Those are some clues. They may not come out and say, you go, baby, what's wrong? What's going on? Let's sit down. Let's talk. But like your husband did, have you decided how you want to kill yourself? Because sometimes they just want to be heard. Well, have you decided? No. Have you decided what you're going to use? No. Have you collected the things you need to carry out your plan? No. So let's talk about this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I really don't want to kill myself, but I just can't take this anymore. But then also, if they were going to kill themselves, they may be exhibiting some of these signs of suicide, and you ask the questions. Oh, have you decided you want to kill yourself? Yeah. Have you decided what you're going to do with it? Yeah, I got some pills at home, and behind that, I got me a whole bottle of vodka, and also, if that don't work, I got a pistol too. So, have you decided the things you need to carry? Yep, I got a whole box of this, and I have a box of that. Yeah, I got it already. So, you have already made your plan. Why do you want to do this? And so, you want to try to get them help. Because this person they know what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, when they're going to do it. So this is the point we're going to call, I need 911. Now, as I tell people when I teach mental health first aid training and they be certified after that, I said, when you leave this class, you'll get a certificate, not a cape. So that means I'm going to do everything can I help you. But if somebody got in their mind that they want to kill themselves, I don't care what you do. I don't care what you say. I don't care how much you pray. I don't care how you call 911. Guess what? They're going to do what they're going to do. But there are a lot of times we have more than none who they don't really want to kill themselves. They want help, so they won't have that desire to want to kill themselves. Do you think Jonah really wanted to kill himself? That he felt death was better?
I have a question, but I want to make this statement. I worked at Monarch mental health facility for about 12 years. So everything you're saying is so honest and brutal, and a lot of people don't get this information. And I think you should go to many churches and talk about this. But okay, but I have a sibling who was dealing with suicide, and still she does go to mental health treatment to get treatment. And our biggest thing is she would tell them that she wants to hurt herself, but the closest to her, which is us, her family, she won't tell us that she's suicidal or that she's having those thoughts. So that's realistic to ask those questions, and it's so vital. And how do you get your family to talk to you about things that you want to help them, because it was my idea to try to get her help. And you want to help them, and you want to make sure that they're safe. But how do you get them to talk to you on that level? Because they may find comfort in talking to other people, but not talking to their family members.
Because where they want other people, there's no judgment zone. They don't know them. They never hurt them in the past. They never told them something in the past. They lost trust in them.
Right.
They never been shut down. They never been called stupid. They never told you weak. Girl, you ain't do this. You ain't nothing. They never did that. Not saying y'all did.
Right.
But not saying that did. But they never been. So that person's at no judgment zone.
Oh, okay.
So I'm in school working on my MSW for counseling as well. So when I was doing counseling last semester and had some clients, it was that same thing. Oh, she doesn't say it at home, but over here they pour everything out.
Yeah.
You'd be like pouring everything out. You talk to your mom? Because she will say, I'm blah, 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 blah. Or do. Because where I tried before, she shut me down.
Oh, okay.
Where I tried to talk to my brother before, he shut me down and said that I was this, ain't nothing wrong with you, girl. You just crazy. You just go over there. So you ain't about to do nothing. You ain't kill yourself. You just want some attention.
So it's a lack of trust in areas.
It's a lack of, yes, it's somewhere that they may not feel comfortable. Over here, I'm not judging. You can come in my office. We're going to sit down. We're going to talk. And there is no judgment zone at all.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Because who I'm going to tell? I don't know your mom. I don't know your family. This is a safe zone. This is a safe zone. I had this child, she would just come in with my counselor I was working with. She said the mom just come in and just talk the whole session. She said, I just sit there and listen to her. I may ask her 1 or 2 questions. Gigi said, I just listened to her because when she left, she felt free. Okay, I'll be back next week. When I come back next week, I'm going to dump it all out again. Because she was a safe place. Nobody was judging her. She could be herself. But sometimes going home to the family or going to the church or going to my sorority friends or going to my posse, I can't always do that because I'm going to be judged. Someone will be scrutinized, and do that. But sometimes when I get that relationship with my counselor or therapist, or maybe a pastor or someone, I can do that. I'm comfortable. So it's also how do I build that trust back? And it's really hard when you lose trust in something and try to get it back.
That's true.
It's hard to build that back up. But I'm not saying it can't be done, but it
Right.
can.
Right.
And being there even at the most vulnerable moments. And so even allowing to get help, you know, you really encourage her. Now she's in there, she's getting that therapy. You know, how can I get back in there and let my sister know that I'm there with her 110%? You know, even having a conversation, is there anything I ever did that hurt you, that makes you feel like you can't come to me? You know, if I ever did anything, you know, I know we're 25 and 28. Out of 28 years.
It's a big stretch.
You know, have I ever done anything that caused you never to trust me? If I ever said, you know, breaking those walls down, you know, because she may never say it. Just breaking those things down and just putting out like these questions, you just bring it out.
That's good.
And it's like, you know, showing your vulnerability. You know, if I didn't know.
That's right.
I didn't know. We don't know some things that we've said that actually have hurt people to their core.
That's so true.
They have shut them down.
Yes.
You know what? That brings me to my mind now. Because my father days, I was second of us by myself, and I'm second to the oldest. And my mother not being there, I became like the mom, so I was kind of tough on them. But I did ask her, have I said, you know, I did ask her.
But like
It
any
kinda
child,
make you wonder, but I'm just thinking that maybe it's a trust issue because she felt like she was alone for so long and not really having a mother, a real mother. You know, I'm just a sister mother.
But
I'm
I'm also
having that person that could have been.
but then also I don't want to disappoint my mom. I can't go to her and say I have these thoughts because then she will look at me like, make her feel bad. Like, what did I? Because then we go back to guilt. What can I do? What could I have done to help her more? What could I have done? So like, say you as a sister mom, then there will be guilt on you.
Yeah.
And I want to tell her because she may feel like what she didn't do is nothing you did. Or, you know what I'm saying? So it goes two ways. So I may not say something to you because I don't want you to feel any more guilt. I don't want you to feel the pain that I've already felt, that I'm feeling now.
Good thing.
So,
But you know, that's the way a lot of people do that's been raped. They hold it and they don't let nobody know nothing about it. And I guess they shame. Nobody's gonna believe it happened, or the person that raped you. If you say anything, I'm gonna say that you, whatever, you know. And it's like, but look at the people that are coming forward now on TV. All these people that somebody touched them 50 years ago. Now they're coming forth. Some of it ain't for real. I don't think.
well, some may not be for real, but you can't tell me when to tell my story.
No. So
people tell me, you know, people may say, well, she should have said that when it happened, but you can't tell me when to tell my story because at that time I couldn't say it.
Right.
For me even thinking about it put me in a fetal position in the corner with my thumb. It may have took me 10 years.
That's true.
It maybe took me even 10 years to even face, because if I even go on that side of town where it happened, I shut all the way down.
My God, that's right.
So maybe it took me 20 years to even be able to go on that side of town, to even pass by that house that used to be there. It's a vacant lot, but I can now pass by there and not feel afraid, not have an anxiety attack, not being scared. Or if it happened, if it was an uncle or somewhere, I can actually now, mom made us go to the family reunion. I never told mom, and I always had this anxiety. I was probably 50 by the time I even got over it. I never could even have a real relationship because I was raped, and now I couldn't tell because everybody said, you always was sitting on his lap. You was always in his face. I told you never to be sitting on no man's lap. Your daddy didn't do that. Your aunt didn't do that.
Wow, that's true.
Your brother would never do that. You a liar. So if my own family don't believe me, why do I think anybody else is going to believe me?
Right.
Because your dad is the first person to show you what love is, but he's the one who.
Right.
And so if that's all that I know.
Right.
I was raped when I was 10. Almost 11.
Wow.
Were you able to talk to you held it for many years?
I mean, they might have heard me say it before, but I never got deep with it or anything. Only time I did is when I was in the class at Sand Hill Community College. I'm trying to think what was it. When they're talking about stuff like this right here. In the class. I can't think of the name of the class. And we was in this basement with no windows, and I was about to freak out right then because I don't like to be closed in. And it was just a bunch of emotion and crying. Other people was telling what happened then, so then I told. And it was like boo boo boo. But everybody came around, they hugged, and it felt much better. But I could never tell a family person.
Wow.
So you had to go, you went to somewhere you didn't know anyone, that everybody was supported you, it made you feel loved and say, it's okay to get it out. But for how long did it stay in there, from 10 until how long?
Oh God, I'm 71 now, so this was what, about 15 years ago.
You held out for over 40 some years, not telling anybody.
I know where how met went. I don't know what day or anything like that, but I know where the place was at, what little city it was in, the town, all that.
If you had to relive it, that moment right now, you can go picture by, you could sing, but you know every single thing, because your body keeps count, never forgets. And so even that moment when everybody was sharing that story, you felt comfortable saying, hey, I can tell my story now. So that's why I said nobody can tell you when you can tell your story.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. You'd be surprised the things that leaders has went through. Even as coming up as children, I can say when I say women. And they haven't been able to tell anybody because of the fact, as you were saying, that the family wouldn't believe. I was at a women's retreat in Chapel Hill 3 years ago, and it was amazing. The women that was there that had went through stuff like that, being raped and all this stuff. There was an apostle from New York, and she was there. There was a family there from Sanford, and the parent, the mother and daughter, had been born with each other for many years because her uncle raped her. And when she went to tell her mother, just like you said, my mom said, stop lying, he wouldn't do that. And they wasn't really talking. And then we went to that retreat, and it was phenomenal. She was allowed to sit down and talk to her mother, and they cried, and it built their relationship. She says, I didn't know you felt that way. I'm sorry, so I should have been there for you. But I do believe there's a lot of things that women and men have went through that they have not been able to tell. And even though they're still preaching and teaching and whatever, but still that same little thing, because you can see something on TV will trigger it. You can see some stuff on TV that will trigger it. But if they can get, as you say, can get to where they can release this stuff. I mean, just told to release it. And as Pastor Kimber was saying last night, take off that mess because they're hiding behind that shit. And I think people, the people of God will be farther in the Lord than they are if they could release the monkey off their head. Because they still carry that dead man. And they really need to get rid of that dead man. And it's amazing. Rape is something, not only do women get raped, men get raped.
That's true.
And they will not tell anybody. And it's amazing. They need stuff like this, retreats, and times where you can just come and sit and talk about it. You'd be surprised the release. I remember years ago when I was down, when you all was down at the other church, and I was talking about my experience. And I remember you said, I understand what you're going through. I understand what you're going through because I've been there with your husband and stuff. And I remember that because a lot of times people, they would just want to tell somebody. And you can't tell everybody.
You can.
Because that's just like you did with Job. He couldn't tell everybody because what happened, his so-called friends said, "What? Okay, now Job, what'd you do? What'd you do? You had to do something. You'd be going through all this here. You don't have to do anything."
That's right.
You'd be surprised the things, the rape and the things that women and men has went through that they haven't been able to tell anybody. And it's hindering them to a certain extent in their ministry. You know, they're wild, they awesome. But still, they can get that monkey off their back and release. Because that stuff can bring sickness on you.
Yeah.
If they can release this stuff, they can be further in the Lord than they are.
But you have to realize that there is a door. But even when
Yes.
when Christ had to heal the person, he's like, I can't do it. Let me take you out.
Right.
Because there was too much unbelief. So let me take you out.
Yeah.
So sometimes our families can be where, yep, can't do that. I got to take you out. So I
That's
have to take you to somewhere. It can be your church family. I can't have that in here, or it can be your church family.
So true.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say, like, you know how you sweep a lot of stuff you go through, but you sweep a lot of stuff under the rug.
Exactly.
With people, you know, like, for example, my situation, whenever I was younger, you know, my daddy was always, you know, just macho, like, he was my daddy, so you know what I'm saying, he was macho man, like, anybody did this, I remember when they, we had some guy at the house, and I was young, wasn't supposed to be there. He came home, and he went off on my cousin. He went off on me, my friend. He went off on the guy that came to him. He just went out. And in between those times, something had happened or whatnot, and a guy had raped me. And I couldn't tell. I should have told or whatnot, but I couldn't tell because I felt like I didn't want my daddy to go to jail. I didn't want nothing to happen to my daddy because he was like, that's my daddy, you know? And so like I held on to it and I held it and I held it and I held it. And this last year or this year sometime, something had came on TV and you never really know, you know what I'm saying? You just push it out the way, but you never really know if it's still bothering you, if it's still, you know, with you or whatnot. And it was like this girl, a little girl, and the lady was going through like the same thing that I had went through with her situation, you know what I'm saying, with her daddy and whatnot. And the little girl was talking as a little girl to the lady who she is now. And she just started crying. And as I was listening to it, like I started crying because I started thinking about me, like holding in everything that I had went through. And there's a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying, I never really told my mom or my daddy because I knew the type of parents I had. Like they didn't play and they didn't play about us. They would have hurt somebody. And I didn't want to see, you know what I'm saying, like nobody in jail. If I would have known that my daddy was going to pass away some few years later, I probably should have known. You always you do that too. You just hide it because you don't want to let nobody know because you don't want to, like you said, disappoint nobody, or you don't want to, you know what I'm saying, nobody to get hurt behind something that happened to you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, we was a small family, so my mama, dad, my sister, me was all I ever knew. And I knew how my daddy felt about me and my sister, his girls, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't say nothing because I wanted to, you know what I'm saying, to brush it apart. But in that, like a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying, happened, like people, you know what I'm saying, talked about me and, you know what I'm saying, slamming my name and everything in it, off of a lot. If I ever wasn't told what really happened, you know what I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying, you did some stuff that you shouldn't have done, but I kept it all in, I hid it all in, and I just really, you know what I'm saying, like, let it out. And I think I told my mama, a year or two ago, and this happened to me when I was like 13. Wow. 13 years old, yeah. And you know what I'm saying, I'm 31 now. Right. And I, you know what I'm saying, I dealt with it. You know what I'm saying, I dealt with it myself or whatnot. But like you say, you have to, you got to, you know what I'm saying, no, and I was just sitting there thinking to me, I was like, no, I might really need to talk to somebody. Because when you talk about this stuff, I like the cold. I like Alaska. I like to be like, I don't like the blinds stuff open. I like to sit in a dark house with the blinds stuff closed, and like I don't really like, you know what I'm saying, like I like people coming around or whatnot, but I get in my moods where I, you know what I'm saying, I'm good today, I might be not want to be bothered tomorrow, I might be good today, I might be up today, down, you know what I'm saying, like because of all the stuff that I've done with them, and I bundled it in and swept on the rug and never really dealt with them. Wow, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And thank you for sharing, being open and sharing with me with that, because we all have a story, and we all have stories. And like she said, we kept things we bottled up. And for it happened, how old was 13 when it happened, and now you're 31. So I'm almost 20 some years span. So what had transpired in that time because of that one incident? What thing has held you back because of that one incident? Wow. What have things that, because of that one incident, because we did not speak out. And so with us who have had experiences, we can easily pick out, something going on with her. I don't know what happened to her, but something's going on. And Lord, give me the spirit of discernment to how to approach. Because when someone's been hurt, you just can't go, what's wrong with you? Somebody been bothering you. Somebody messed with you. No, I'm good. Because the way the approach is all how you do, it's how you do what you do. And it's how you say what you say. You can say, girl, gotta fix it. You go somewhere. You're like, can't do that. You want to talk to somebody. You want to talk to somebody. So it's everything when it comes to mental health. We're not about mental wellness, mental health. So how do we keep mental healthness? So in other words, we got to take care of ourselves mentally. And so what you want to do, if there's things that are bothering you, even some people like to journal and they write it out. Mm-hmm. They write it out, or they type it out, or they find that confidant. that they can speak with. Something goes on, call in that person. I'm exercising. If I'm dealing, and for me, if I'm dealing last semester, I don't know, one of the semesters, everything all running together. My teacher had stressed the ham fat out of me all the way. I was like stressed. I was like, I got to get to the gym right now. And I went to the gym and I said, Floor, I apologize for what I'm going to do to you. Because I'm about to let you have it. Because I got to get this off. You know, I'd let it go, because when you exercise, your body releases endorphins to help you deal with that stress. So no, we don't have to go run 20,000 miles. It could be just walking around your yard or raking the yard. In other words, getting that heart rate up, that those endorphins will be released, you know. So it could just be, you know, going up and down this thing 15 times, 15 times, up and down this ramp, or walking around. So exercise, do that. And eating. We're also going back what the young lady talked about, eating. What you are, what you eat. What you put in is what you get out. So even with that, a lot of times people, when they deal with stuff, the first thing they want to go is caffeine. They would give me espresso, give me some caffeine. I need to able to get through this. I need to get through this. But you're also, because what goes up must come down. And when you come down, you crash. Oh, I want candy, sweet. Guess what? You get that spike and then you come in. So now you're already feeling mentally down. Now you got some food that you brung in. Now it's gonna make you. When you, a lot of times, I know we guilty. We eat 4 or 5 pieces of chicken and bread and cake and all that. Woo, I'm tired. Well, you know why? Because you done ate all them carbs, and now your blood sugar is in the roof, and you about to bottom and crash, and then you want to sleep afterwards.
That's so true.
And then you get tired. Yeah. Amen, Wall. Yeah. So we got to make sure, even when we're dealing with stuff, taking care of ourselves, watching what we eat. Also, mental wellness depends on also taking care of yourself. Having some me time. Women especially, men as well. A lot of times we will be superheroes. We wear an S on our chest or a W, Wonder Woman, Superman, Superwoman, but we don't have to be everything to everybody.
That's right.
Because if you die today, whatever you was doing, somebody will pick it up and do it tomorrow.
That's true. That's it.
They want to pick up. If you work in a place, they like you give them 145%. You die today, they go, we remember Sam Doe. He was wonderful. Okay, you have now been named the interim for this job. They're gonna pick up right where you left up. They're gonna give you access to his files. They're gonna give you access to his files, access to his emails, and everything.
She prophesied right now.
And so you can pick up where he left off. But so you gotta take care of yourself.
Amen.
I told my husband I'm an only child. I said, listen, I love you and everything, but listen, I'm an only child. I need my me time. Because I'm used to having my me time. So I can't deal with all that around me all the time. That's fine. But I'm going to have to get away sometime. Because I may just want to go in the room. I don't go away. Because what you're not going to do, I love you, but I'm so in love with me.
Yes.
That's right.
And you will not drive me crazy. And so I am going next week to blah, 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 blah. And so I graduate in May. I said I graduated on the 8th. I'm leaving out on the 9th. Am I going? I said, you're more than welcome. We can, but I'm going to be going on a cruise for about at least 8 days. So if you got the time and the opportunity, please do. But if you don't, it's all right. But I love you, though. Am I right, Mom? Because, I had a time where he was like, oh my God. And I was crying. I'm like, hold up, girl. Pump your brakes. Yeah, no. I can't give that much of me, of my mind, of my mental space to anybody where I'm losing myself. Not about being selfish, but when you give your mind so much to someone that you forget and you're going, oh my God, what am I doing? That's too much power. Because now what's going on in your mental space?
That's good.
Because you're over here, oh my goodness. We had got a disagreement one day and I was like, I'm so sick of this. And I was like, wait a minute, hold up. After that, got myself together. I was like, wait a minute. Well, hold on. Hold on. There's something wrong with this picture. Hold on. I didn't do this before you, and I'm sure I ain't gonna do it before you.
We the next appointment, I can come see you.
I love you, but I love you more. I got one life to live. Now, I don't know how many lives you got, but I got one to live. We're gonna make the best of this. And you can get on the bus or get off the bus. It really don't make me never mind. And so there's a problem. Now, it's a benefit. I talk about being an only child. I really love it, but it's not always a good thing to have that only child syndrome. Because it could be a little bit, just a little bit of selfishness. You know, we're all confessing. Confessing our faults to one another. Tell the truth, just a little bit. But it's okay to be selfish over your mental and emotional health. And I tell people all day, I am selfish over our mental and emotional health all day. I am. You got to be selfish over your mental because I can't trust my mental, my emotional health in your hand, even my physical health. I like when she said, when she was talking about her husband, her food, she's like, I started cooking the cauliflower. He said, well, to gain 20 pounds in the first year, they lost first 20 pounds because she was not putting her health in his hands. It's like he put his health in her hands, and what happened? He lost 20 pounds because she was like, I can't do this. And she made a decision, I can't do this. I'm not going to gain 20 pounds. I'm not going to do this. And so she brought him to the other side, and he reaped the benefits.
See, that's a good thing.
Because she said, I got to take care of me mentally, emotionally, and physically, because I want to live longer than my mother, or my father, or my family, or his brother, or his sister that they live. We're going to live longer. So she declared to say, not in this house, but for me in this house, we're going to be whole. Mentally, physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, wholeness. And so she did that with that. I hope I said something that
Really helped me because along that you talked today, I had no idea.
It was so good.
I mean, and the way you broke it down, and you look at the food and the mental, it all works together.
It does. It's all work together.
But I never knew all this would be going on in your mind. And really, when you breaking your own body down. And I love how you just up and go.